To the point, I'm Preeti Chaudhary. Years after nearly being decimated by the second wave, India is rising again. And the government, which faced a huge perceptual crisis with many would suggest mismanagement of the second wave in India, is now fighting back, bolstered with a record vaccination which took place yesterday with the vaccine regime change. Today, Rahul Gandhi charged the government of mismanagement and then presented a white paper saying follow this when the third wave comes. The BJP turned around and said don't spread vaccine hesitancy. He even went to the point of calling the Congress a circus and Rahul Gandhi a joker. The COVID crisis and the war of perception being fought tooth and nail by the incumbent and the opposition. The second wave had India on its knees gasping for breath. India is literally rising from the ashes, and the government charged with mishandling of the crisis is now fighting back to resurrect a dented reputation. The opposition is in the pandemic theatre trying to underline what they deem was government incompetence. Rahul Gandhi on Tuesday released a white paper on government's mishandling of the COVID crisis. On the offensive, bolstered by a fresh vaccination record on day one of the new vaccine regime, the BJP hit back.
It is pretty clear that the management of the first wave and the management of the second wave was disastrous. There were some central reasons as to why it was disastrous. We have tried to point out those reasons in our white paper.
जब लॉकडाउन की परिस्थिति थी, पहली बार भारत सरकार ने लॉकडाउन किया था, उस समय उसी लॉकडाउन को तुगलकी लॉकडाउन कह के भारत के जो युवराज हैं कांग्रेस पार्टी के, राहुल गांधी ने संबोधित किया था, ये तो तुगलकी लॉकडाउन है। जब कोवैक्सीन आता है और छत्तीसगढ़, राजस्थान इत्यादि राज्यों में कोवैक्सीन सप्लाई की जाती है, तो कांग्रेस शासित राज्य मना कर देते हैं वैक्सीन लेने से। वैक्सीन हेजिटेंसी को बढ़ावा मिलता है। ये सभी विघ्न बाधाएं राहुल गांधी ने भारत के कोविड लड़ाई में खड़ी की है।
Rahul Gandhi lashed out at the Prime Minister, saying his tears could not save lives or wipe away the pain of those families who lost loved ones due to lack of oxygen. Rahul also said that the Prime Minister was busy with elections and did not take the second wave seriously. The BJP in turn called Rahul Gandhi a clown and the Congress a circus.
जो नीडलेस डेथ्स हुई हैं, प्राइम मिनिस्टर के आंसू उन परिवारों के आंसू को नहीं मिटा पाएंगे। वो सब परिवार जानते हैं प्रधानमंत्री के आंसू ने उनको नहीं बचाया, मगर ऑक्सीजन जरूर बचा सकता था।
It would not be, I would say, wrong to state that as far as Rahul Gandhi and Congress party is concerned, they should be called as the clown and the circus.
The second wave ebbing, the centre now in an overdrive to rebuild its image that had taken a hit with the monstrous COVID surge. On social media, public memory, publicity campaigns, and attacking the opposition.
वो सब परिवार जानते हैं कि जो मेरे परिवार का व्यक्ति, मेरे माता, मेरे पिता, मेरे भाई, मेरी बहन, जब वो मरे, वहां प्रधानमंत्री नहीं थे, चुनाव लड़ रहे थे, बंगाल में चुनाव लड़ रहे थे और उनका फोकस दूसरी ओर था। तो ये तो पूरा देश जानता है।
मुझे तो कभी कभी लगता है कि कंफ्यूजन और राहुल ये पर्यायवाची शब्द है। कंफ्यूजन इज दाई नेम। राहुल गांधी जी का नाम ही कंफ्यूजन है। ही इज कंफ्यूशियस गांधी।
Politics in a pandemic has been a recurrent theme. If the centre has failed to provide a cohesive vaccine policy till they were forced to change it, then the states run by the opposition added to the confusion. Sadly, as always, citizens go lateral. So, fair amount of back and forth where the BJP and the Congress is concerned. Today was quite the same. Are we looking at a third wave? With many experts saying yes, and it could come as soon as the next 2 weeks. But pandemic politics continues to peak. Cutting across to our guests this evening, I have Shaina NC from the Bharatiya Janata Party, and I'm going to be joined in a short while from now, Shama Mohammed, Congress spokesperson. Shaina, the fact is, has confusion been added by the states? Yes. Has the centre also failed in the first vaccine policy, which really wasn't a policy as per even the Supreme Court? Yes. But what happened today, many would want to ask, this is the 5th time that the BJP has asked the Gandhis whether they are vaccinated. What interest does the BJP have in knowing whether Rahul Gandhi, Sonia Gandhi, Priyanka Gandhi have taken the vaccination shot or not? Because they keep asking that. What's the reason is what I want to know.
So, Preeti, I'll say 2-3 things. Day one of India's new COVID-19 vaccine policy recorded 85 lakh doses administered. Now, this is a large number by any strength of imagination. If you look at the highest numbers of vaccines, even in a state like Madhya Pradesh, followed by Karnataka, followed by Uttar Pradesh, I think there are 2 points we have to raise. One is that the people of India stand united with Prime Minister Modi's endeavour to explain that it is only vaccination that can save all of us, which has been proven by the numbers which have come. Now, if we are talking about how to expedite the process, we are the fastest when it comes to administering vaccines across the globe. And I would want to say that it is not just the number of doses which have been administered, it is also the figure which has risen from 43 lakhs in April. Additionally, 61 lakh doses were administered to the people in 18 to 44 group. Now there comes a day when India has got, only the lowest of our coronavirus infections, which are 53,000 in a large country as ours, and it's the lowest in 88 days. So obviously, the opposition cannot see any of this, and they only choose to talk about fresh fatalities, talk about the updates of the health ministry. The time has come for us to unite and fight COVID. And I do understand.
I'm going to bring in Shama Mohammed, but I want to ask you that question again. I'm sorry, I'm coming in. You talked about Madhya Pradesh breaking all records of 17 lakh doses on Monday. They just did over 600 doses on Sunday. Just trivia. Only 600 doses, a little over on Sunday, Shaina. And on Monday, Madhya Pradesh breaks the record with 17 lakh doses. So that's food for thought. I'll ask that question again as I bring in Shama. I want to ask. You can. I want to just ask that one question.
The vaccine, as our Prime Minister has said, is the strongest weapon to fight COVID-19.
Okay.
And for all those who are vaccinated, kudos to them and to the frontline warriors.
Yes, fine.
But we need to espouse this sense of surety where you have political parties trying to say, this is Narendra Modi ki vaccine hai, mat lo, spreading all kinds of
but Shaina, you gave an example. I'm just giving you the example. You said we have a record. Great, we have a record. I hope the record is sustained, and we will be looking at figures on what happened today and tomorrow. But I just want to give you that figure that on Sunday, Madhya Pradesh did just over 600 doses and did 17 lakhs on Monday when the vaccine change happened. But I'll ask you that question again as I bring in Shama. What's the interest of the Bharatiya Janata Party, because you've asked it 5 times over, if the Gandhis are vaccinated or not? Why?
Yeah, because they have nothing else. See, they're rattled. Let me tell you, ministers like Ravi Shankar Prasad's spokespersons, senior leaders are all rattled by Rahul Gandhi's questions because he asked really pertinent questions. Let's not forget the letter which he sent along with Dr. Manmohan Singh last time asked for a couple of things. That is free vaccination for all. Give money to many of these vaccine makers, give them. So the government did that. They gave them an advance of 2,500 crores. He said, put a moratorium on the exports, stop the exports. The government did that. He said, Rahul Gandhi asked that, we need to get different other vaccines other than Bharat Biotech and Serum Institute. Government got it. In Sputnik, it got Cadila, it got Covishield, and now it is Covaxin. So, Rahul Gandhi is asking for more money. He is asking for more vaccines. He is asking for more money. He is asking for more vaccines. 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 He got e-biology. It's permission now, the hypocritical government, when Pfizer came knocking on your doors in December, you did not give them the emergency permission. You gave it to Sputnik now because you were short of vaccine. So they keep abusing a man who asks questions. That's the first and foremost. Now she says, oh, Narendra Modi is so interested in giving vaccines. Then why did he order only 1.6 crore in January when he knows the population of this country is 130 crore, which should have been done last year? He says, you know, Mr. Modi said the other day, what was he saying? That nobody knew how, when COVID came, nobody knew how to, you know, take it on. No country did. Yes,
allow me.
Last year, but they did know this year how to do it. But we lost lives because there was no oxygen. That is why we lost lives, and the courts have called it genocide.
Okay.
Now let me talk. China has said some. She got some figures here. She said in April there were 42 lakhs, yes, on one day, April 2nd. Then it was all 30 lakhs, and in May it was 18 lakhs. Then let's talk about now what is happening. Yesterday was 80 lakhs. Day before was 30 lakhs, 39,996. Today is 42 lakhs were vaccinated. So what happened? Why aren't you? If we vaccinate, yesterday I was on a debate on India Today, and the BJP spokesperson said we will continue this. We have to vaccinate 90 lakhs to a crore to get 210 doses by December. They said they're going to vaccinate everybody by December with double doses. With this sort of, I want to ask China and see why has it gone down. And also a very important fact which you have said, which you've noted, Madhya Pradesh, and let me also give her the UP did 16 lakhs yesterday, but it did 8,800 day before. So yesterday was a show. You know, the event management of Narendra Modi. I want to ask China.
Okay.
Why is it not? Why not 70 lakh or 80 lakh?
Shama, you made your point. Would you also fix your connection? Your voice is breaking. So if you can
one last point.
just fix your connection, your voice, we can barely hear you. I want to go back to China and I'll come back to Shama. You know, China, there are questions which Shama has raised, but more so as well. I want to ask that question again. What is the BJP's interest in knowing whether the Gandhis are vaccinated? Every press conference you ask if Rahul Gandhi is vaccinated, Sonia Gandhi is vaccinated.
Preeti, I think you forget when Mr. Rahul Gandhi went on, ये तो मोदी जी की vaccine है, हम नहीं लेने वाले हैं. Then you had Shashi Tharoor statements. Then you had counter-indicative statements. Now, do understand that in a country as large as ours, the centre's new revised policy on COVID vaccine earlier in June, when Prime Minister Modi announced that the centre will take over from the states, which they were supposed to be carrying out 25% of the country's vaccination drive and continue the ongoing efforts to inoculate the population of 45 and frontline workers. You've had the centre and the states in trying to work in tandem. And what do you have the Congress party saying? No, we want the centre to give the states the control. When the centre gives the states the control, then they say, no, now the centre should, why should the states be paying for vaccines? When we agree to do that, then you come up with a counter argument. Now, let's understand, during May, more than 7.9 crore vaccines were available for inoculation as the centre ramped it up to 11.78 crores in June. And these include free supplies to the states, union territories, which are being procured directly and which are also being procured by private hospitals. Now, if the centre comes up with a policy which is all inclusive for 18 to 44, what do you call it? Arbitrary and irrational. I don't understand. What do you want us to do? Madhya Pradesh, you said, administered, yes.
1,000, just about 1,000.
Yes.
Uttar Pradesh administered about 16,000.
Of jabs were debated. Yes, but on today, look at the highest number of jabs are in Madhya Pradesh, followed by Karnataka, followed
because
by Uttar
that's the day
Pradesh.
when your regime changed.
Also have to
we'll only know the figures in days to come if they sustain China. We all know better about this.
Preeti, are you going to contradict the health ministry that has come out openly with the statistics on not just its portal but every social media platform? I have all the numbers, so if you want, I can sit
China,
and rattle
I am no one to contradict. I have given you numbers. No, China, I am no one to contradict. As a journalist, we are supposed to number crunch and we're putting the graphics out there. Sunday states were as low as just about 1,000. On Monday, when the new regime kicks in, it goes over 17 lakhs.
Free vaccines too. But
Okay.
if they're free vaccines, obviously more people will come.
Well, let's hope.
Isn't
let's
it
hope.
just common sense?
Okay,
It had
great,
earlier
great,
been
great. Let's
given,
hope the
where
numbers
you had
sustain.
to pay some amount, and here it's absolutely free.
Okay. Well,
So
let's hope the numbers
let's
sustain.
stand united in this fight
Okay.
rather than just
I want to bring in. Can I bring in? I want to bring in Shama back into this debate. Shama, the fact is there is a charge and there is credence to it. The Congress till very early back wanted decentralization. Then you wanted the government to procure it. So there has been confusion which has been added by the opposition as well.
Yeah, so the confusion is not by us, it's by media and by the Bharatiya Janata Party. We have said nowhere that we want to procure vaccines. It is about distribution of the vaccines. We were telling about how to distribute to the states. Just let the states decide. You must show us any letter or anywhere a Congress chief minister has said that we would like to procure the vaccines. Now, it is the duty of the central government to procure vaccines, number one. Number two, she said that Rahul Gandhi said that he will not take vaccines. Now, Shaina NC, please do not lie on national television. Rahul Gandhi never said that. The liar is our Prime Minister Modi and the spineless Prime Minister who was nowhere to be seen in April and May when people were dying, when people were deficient of oxygen. All hospitals, you know, they were going to where? Where were they going to? Not to the central government, to courts, saying like Batra Hospital, 20
I
people.
can get very
Please
catchy in
let her
this
finish.
debate, but I'm choosing not to.
So Mr. Modi was nowhere to be seen. His service is up in on June 7th when everything was all right. Let me finish that. Then she said that it is on the it's on the website, what is happening, what is there. What was the number of deaths in Bihar by your websites? 7,200. What is it when they did the audit? 75,000. So let's look at that. Who said that coronal can be used to cure COVID? Dr. Harshvardhan, who happens to be a health minister. So he is a bit deranged in his head. He should have been asked to resign since he's a deranged man. I don't know why he's still the health minister, who is a doctor himself and asked taking coronal. When Dr. Manmohan Singh wrote a letter, he had to reply back in such stern manner, ridiculing the letter, and after a few days, they took in all the suggestions and put it in. So Shaina NC, I don't know what you're talking about and where you're heading, but you didn't answer one question of mine. Why is it today 42 lakhs? Yesterday, you came out and said, you know what, we are vaccinating 72 lakhs or whatever. And why has it come down today? And the largest vaccination is 17.2 crores a day in 2012, February 19th for pulse polio.
Okay.
So let me get that in your head.
All right.
This is not the largest.
Okay, you made your point. Okay, Shama, you've raised questions. Can I bring in Shaina to answer those? Go ahead,
Why
Shaina.
is it 42 lakhs today? She has to answer.
We've heard you. Go ahead, Shaina.
I don't understand why Congress spokespersons get so excited and start screaming and believing that they're making a point by just trying to contradict. Now, according to these revised guidelines, do understand that vaccines are now provided free of cost by the center and have been given to the states and union territories. That is why the numbers have increased so much, and the fluctuation that you see is courtesy the resistance of a Gyani Baba who knows nothing about COVID and only contradicts by saying, oh, ye to Modi ji ki vaccine hai, aapko lena chahiye. Probably you should look at Shashi Tharoor's statements, Mr. Rahul Gandhi's statements, if 75%.
Can I just get Shaina to make her point?
Look,
Rahul Gandhi did not say that, and he keep saying this thing. I'm sorry. I'm not going to
Can I just
allow
get Shaina? I'll ask our PCR. Can I just get Shaina? Yes, go ahead.
in order to incentivize production by vaccine manufacturers, encourage new vaccines, domestic vaccine manufacturers have also been given the option to provide vaccines directly to private hospitals.
So they are free
this
right
has
now.
Also been
okay, so that's why the number, but it has climbed up.
We have all of this, of course. Of course. And please understand, we have only one agenda to work. Actions speak louder than work.
Okay. Shama, I'll give you 10 seconds and I'll wrap up the show.
It is thanks to Prime Minister Modi that we've been able to tide over second
phase. Okay, Shana, I want to give 10 seconds to Shama as well, and then I want to wrap up the show. Okay, Shama, go ahead, come in for a rebuttal. I'll wrap up the show.
China NC, free vaccines are given by every country all over the world. It's nothing new. And they all ordered vaccines. Enough and more last year. That's why nobody died in the second wave. How many
what
families
you would have done
lost
differently, but if you
the
had,
second wave
I'm sure we would
because
have
the Prime
okay.
did not order enough for our
Okay, yes. All right, ladies, appreciate you, both of you for joining us. Thank you there. The debate will continue and we'll have you again to argue it out. Appreciate you both for joining us. Up next is Shivaru.